Hello indie game fans, there are always a bunch of gorgeous looking pixel art titles in development, with the dreaded TBA meaning that they don't have any release date or release window and may be a ways off, but here are the best looking ones in development to keep an eye on. We begin with the gorgeous pixel art title Sons of Valhalla, a side-scrolling management game similar to Kingdom but with a Viking theme, looking absolutely fantastic especially due to the lighting effects.
I jumped the car back in Breaker's Cut. Told myself I'd never come back.
Developer Powerhoof is one of the most interesting indie developers out there, making games in a wide variety of genres and is best known for the competitive multiplayer title Crawl, this time turning their attention to the adventure genre with The Drifter. Aethyr is a Souls-like action RPG set within a world inspired by Norse mythology, but has had one of the most troubled development cycles in recent memory, being revealed about 6 years ago but shows no signs of release, and yet is still one of the most anticipated indie games out there. Play as a shield maiden who must unravel threads of fate, tainted by the trickster god Loki, and impressed even back then with the pixel art, showing that it is indeed a timeless art style. All the drama aside, the developers are sharing small updates on the subreddit, which is the best place to go for news, so hopefully we will see its release someday. One of the most exciting indie projects in development is UFO 50, a collection of 50 games made by the creators of Spelunky, Downwell and Catacomb Kids. The experiences shown off here seem so varied, from platformer, RPG, tower defense, roguelite, puzzle, twin-stick shooter, racing, arcade sports, beat-em-ups, horizontal shooters, multiplayer games and more, so certainly an ambitious project to look forward to. Some of these are proper full-length games, which is perhaps why this is taking some time, but as the saying goes, good things come to those who wait. Interestingly, the developers have coordinated and chosen a particular 8-bit art style and color palette, such that it would be consistent across all 50 titles, and given the pedigree, this must be on your radar if you love indie games. A cozy looking pixel art adventure game is A Space for the Unbound, coming to us from Indonesian developer Mojikan, and is set in rural Indonesia in the late 90s. I do like it when developers share a little bit about their own country, culture or upbringing in their games, where indie games is the perfect medium for that, and it doesn't hurt that this looks fantastic. It's a slice of life title, where you're dealing with very real life issues like mental health and relationships, but does have a touch of the supernatural in this. Really loved the skylines and clouds shown off in the trailer, with a little bit of a Studio Ghibli vibe evoking movies like Weathering with You, so of course I'm in. I'm always down for a Zelda-style action-adventure game, so Aethyr is of interest, being pretty promising in terms of design and content with a sweet pixel art look as well. It takes place in the dying days of humanity, where our hero seeks to unravel the secrets of the past, guided by a fallen god as you delve into ancient temples and explore the far reaches of the Aethyr. fantastic looking action, which, combined with over 21 different skills from mining, woodcutting, magic and weapon skills with a deep crafting system, will keep you occupied for hours to come. This was kickstarted in December 2018, with the developers posting update there and on Twitter, so certainly signs of life, and it's another title to look forward to. The Korean title Blade Assault is a cyberpunk roguelite platformer with all the genre tropes, but it does look fantastic in action and is not to be missed. Battle your way up through the Undercity to bring the corrupt military leaders to justice, fighting side by side with your allies in this neon-soaked world. As a fan of this genre, I do think that the action looks fantastic, having a nice mix of melee and ranged weapons, as well as enemy variety of both the bioorganic and metallic kind. It had a successful Kickstarter campaign to seek funding for extra features, and the latest update is that the early access launch was delayed due to COVID-related issues, so stay tuned to the channel and I'll let you know when it does get released. Of the games on this list, I think that this stands the best chance of making it this year, but I'll wait for the official confirmation, but certainly a title of interest. A game which I've been looking forward to is The Iron Oath, a mercenary company management tactics RPG that looks oh so good, where the release window was initially 2019 and then 2020 and is now TBA, so we'll just have to be patient with this. The hook here is that time plays a major factor, where your mercenaries can sustain permanent injuries, age, retire and die, so the risk-reward of battle is even higher stakes. The overworld exploration, management systems, dungeon crawling and campfire system seems to be of interest as well, but for how great it looks, it gets a spot. I'm a fan of pixel artist Henk Niebog, having lent his skills to a wide variety of games dating back to the 90s, with some recent entries being the pixel art Shantae games in Risky's Revenge and Pirate's Curse, Wizard of Legend, Xeno Crisis and Shakedown Hawaii, where one such upcoming title is Tiny Thor. Play as the young god of thunder, wielding your legendary hammer in this 16-bit spectacular adventure. I love the look of this, especially the skylines, clouds and enemy designs, and overall this really nails the retro look, and the gameplay and level design isn't too far off either. As someone who grew up with games like this, I hope that this will inspire the next generation as well. A no-brainer title has to be Eastward, which immediately got the attention of many people and I am no exception. It's an action-adventure game with two characters, where the older gentleman found the mysterious young girl and the pair must work together to bring some hope back to humanity. In this world, a toxic substance has spread across the surface of the earth, forcing humans into underground villages, where it is about finding a way to get humanity back to the surface, having an overall message of hope. I love the amount of detail in the environments, but even more than that, the character designs are awesome as well, reminding me of something like Earthbound, so certainly a no-brainer pick. I thought I'll switch things up just a little with Leilani's Island, a vibrant and colourful platformer title with an interesting rolling mechanic. The villain has invaded the island with an army of robots, wanting to drain it dry of its energy and resources, so it's up to our heroine to save the day. There are multiple outfits which grants Leilani new powers, not unlike a certain famous plumber, and since we don't frequently get awesome linear 2D platformers these days, it is certainly a title to watch. Just a tease for the dimension-switching Metroidvania Akatori at the moment, which some of you might have seen in some of my coverage, but since I love the look and genre, it is on my personal watch list. I've been looking forward to Feyland for at least 2 to 3 years now, being a fantastic looking pixel art Metroidvania title with some cinematic platformer inspirations and perhaps more than a little bit of Zelda 2 DNA. It has a fairly conventional story setup of a young man whose home was destroyed by monsters, taking on the responsibility of saving the kingdom from a greater threat as he becomes the hero that he was born to be. While the animation is perhaps a little stiffer than expected, our hero does have a variety of cool moves that I've seen in update gifs, such as backflips and ledge grabs, which are impressive, so I'm curious about the Metroidvania exploration abilities. Again, I'm a huge sucker for pixel art clouds, which is done superbly well here, with some interesting streaming sunlight as well, which just gives it an awesome look. Kickstarted in 2018, the developers have been posting updates on the campaign page, so there are signs of life, but it seems like it may be a 2022 title at the earliest by my estimation. Another highly anticipated title is The Last Night, absolutely wowing with its debut trailer a couple of years back, where the cinematic adventure platformer just looks so impressive, of course aided by the post-cyberpunk setting. I suppose at the time, cyberpunk hype was all the rage, and given how that game launched, there's definitely still plenty of space for something to impress with the use of the setting. There was some controversy over the developer due to what else than old tweets, so you might want to look into that, or don't, but either way, one of the most gorgeous games for sure. The pixel art Metroidvania title, Hot 4th Elysia, is also one of those fabled vaporware games next to titles like Aethyr and Radio the Universe, having been kickstarted in 2014, so coming up to 7 years, which is an insanely long time for a game in development. But there are good reasons as to why this is on the list. First and foremost, pixel art Metroidvania is my favourite combination of art style and genre, so of course I'm in, where the warrior-wizard protagonist looks like a particularly fun combination. It has an interesting world where you're caught in a war between the wizards of the forest and the desert army of the west, where terror in the sky is pursuing our heroine, so an intriguing setup and world to explore. Most interestingly, this got a full-on Steam page a couple of months back, so it does look like the project is moving along, but I have to be honest to say that I have completely no feel on when this would be released. Still, a gorgeous looking game and perhaps most emblematic of the TBA pixel art title, taking the #1 spot. For more upcoming pixel art titles that at least have a 2021 release window, do check out this video and I will see you after the jump.